Hey guys, I got a great interview coming up with Cy Whitmore from the company Cyco Beans Coffee Company. Let's get right into it.
How is Cincinnati? I'm actually in the Northeast Ohio. What's it like in Cincy?
Actually, it's really great. I've been here just a little over 14 years now. I actually come to love the city more than anybody else realizes. You get down here sometimes, and it's just so diverse. You've got a lot of different opportunities being so close to the border of Kentucky and Indiana, and you can kind of run around and get into everything. And there's a ton to do in Cincinnati, so I really like it.
Yeah, for sure. I was in Cincinnati. It was last August, I think, for a 10K with the Cincinnati Reds.
Oh yeah, the Red Legs.
Yeah. So, are you Guardians or Reds?
Reds, 100%.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so tell me your passion about. All right, Mr. Redlegs.
Right.
Tell me about your passion for coffee, sir.
Yeah, so actually, I was never a caffeine drinker back in the day. Never drank coffee, pop, none of that stuff. I've got a very high energy level, which all my friends say.
Okay.
The smell has always been amazing. My family do fresh coffee in the morning. I can smell them brewing something for the evening for dinner. It's such a great smell. And then a buddy of mine said, "Man, with your energy and all the stuff you get into, Si, this is really something you should look into." So I kind of jumped in head first. Started my own brand and started getting. I have about 40 different flavors now, and
Wow.
it's a lot of fun. And they're freshly ground and roasted. It took about 5 days after process of roasting and grinding and shipped to your door, but it's fresh and to you as quick as I can get it because there's nothing better than freshly ground coffee.
That's right. So what are the origins of your name? I see Cyco Beans. Does that come from your name?
Yeah, it does actually. And funny enough, the baseball we're talking about, my father's a huge baseball enthusiast. So my brother and I were Cyrus Young and Tyler Cobb. So my full name is Cyrus, and I just go by Cy. My brother goes by Ty. So Cy and Ty kind of stuck.
Okay.
I was thinking of a brand name, and somebody always called me Cyco, and I just said, "Hey, CYCO, Cyco, let's go." So
there you go.
that's the Cyco Beans.
Nice. Let's see. Do you support? I understand you're still a small business still. Do you support any charities at all?
So I'm a big motorcycle enthusiast also.
Okay.
A couple of charities involved in this, the Distinguished Gentleman's Drive, which is actually coming up here soon on May the 21st. It's all around the world. Last year, I think they raised $7 million for men's mental health and suicide awareness.
Okay.
That's a really fun one. Another cool one I really love is there's a race they do up in Columbus called the Mud Ninja.
Okay.
Really cool 5K race, nothing crazy, but at the end of it, all of the donations are going to go towards autism. Everybody buys new shoes before we start. So after the race, you dip and clean your shoes, and then they actually give them away to kids for autism. So that's fun.
Wow, very cool. Tell me about how you name your coffees. Like what goes into the naming process? Like,
oh, great question, actually. So when it came to looking at some of the names, I first started with the traditional concept. Your Columbia brews, the different versions that a lot of people have out there, and tasting the other brands and other companies out there to see what they're deriving from those actual names, what they're getting, and then looking at the origin of these countries and places that have these different brews and seeing kind of how that plays in a part. For the most part, it's kind of simple as it sounds sometimes when you're tasting something and you go, "Man, that really tastes like a good cinnamon undertone with it," and you have a little bit of a nut taste to it, and you start looking at the hazelnut cinnamons, and you look at one of my personal favorite, the Cinnabuns.
Okay.
Those things are kind of rudimentary in themselves, but grasping the effect where you actually take a sip of this coffee and you taste what you're reading is one of my favorite things. You actually get that real nice rich hint of that pumpkin spice. Anything that you're putting in there, that you actually get that vanilla bean when you're putting the French vanilla together. That's kind of where it comes to making sure the name gives it justice to the actual flavors.
Okay, that's awesome. So tell me, just a couple more questions, sir. Tell me about do you have any advice for any aspiring entrepreneurs such as myself?
Oh, absolutely. One of the things when I was first getting into it, I really didn't know where to go, what to do. Biggest thing for me was asking for help.
Okay.
It's okay. Hey man, what do you do? And gentlemen like yourself and others out there have been awesome about looking towards their advice or what they've done that's worked, what they're doing that's working, or what they've done that hasn't worked. And that's kind of is to be absolutely humble and realize you're going to need help along the way. Even when you're up on top, you're still going to need those people helping. So this process has been a very entertaining process starting out.
Okay.
My wife, extremely wonderful and helpful. We just had a child here soon, recently, about a week ago. But she has still been my my brain when it comes to the computer and getting things done. And my labels are actually about to change here soon.
Okay.
That's one I'm joking about with all my labels, because it's kind of a generic print of my actual company name and everything, and then what kind of coffee is in each bag. But she's like, we need to make them custom. So I've been building the images with her. So all these bags get custom images on them, like the peppermints will have peppermint sticks behind with things. So it's a little more. But that was advice given to me by another guy who makes coffee. And he said, hey, man, make it personal, make it custom, because, you know, anybody can and do what an industry does and print out a big Folgers cup or something. I'm not throwing anybody else under the bus, but when you really make it personal, that's when it really matters more. And people really like that touch.
That's awesome. So last question, sir. Any thoughts you'd like to share with the fans of your company, Cyco Beans, or the fans of JK Box?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank everybody out there that's taking the time. We all have very busy lives. We all got things to do. And when you actually get that personal time, you get to sit down on your phone in the evenings after work, or to take the time to research things, or go shopping, to get online and buy something that you appreciate. I can't thank the family, friends, and anybody out there that takes the time to even look at my webpage at cycobeans.com, to jump on your browsers and look at what people are doing, what they're excited about, and share that little bit, and then go the extra step and say, you know what, I like what this guy's throwing down, and actually buy a bag of coffee, or visit the webpage, subscribe, like, and share. Those are big deals. I always tell people you don't have to buy my stuff, but if you can just share it. Share it with your friends, put my webpage out, things like that. Same thing for you. Being able to publish and push subscribe, that's a big deal. It means a lot to the small businessman.
Thank you so much for watching. You can find me on social media. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Here are my handles. And if you'd like to join me for more fun with coffee, subscribe here on the Coffee Mug. And you can watch the previous video right here. Until next time, happy brewing. I'll see you next time.